Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237. This time coming at you with a slasher film. I know I've been doing Italian films. And this is just a blind review. I didn't just get done watching this, but it's one I've seen a lot and probably remember enough to talk about. And that, of course, is Child's Play. 1988, the movie that introduced us to Chucky the Killer Doll. Still the best one of the series. Which, in fact, I consider Child's Play and Of Chucky films to be two totally different things. Child's Play is a straightforward horror film, written by Don Mancini, who has directed the last few, and I'm glad this new film isn't going to Don Mancini because he fucked up so many times in recent films. Directed by Tim Holland, who I believe, pretty sure is the director of Fright Night. So that's cool. Of course, stars Catherine Hicks, Sarandon. I can never remember the name of the kid that played Andy. And of course, Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky. Now, originally, this went through many, many different titles. Don Mancini always liked the idea of the evil doll, the killer doll. So originally, it was titled Batteries Not Included, but there was already an 80s film that was coming out at that time called that. Then he rewrote it a little bit and called it Blood Buddies, which would make Chucky and Andy being blood buddies. Then he just sort of came up with the whole voodoo aspect. Which actually, I think Tim Holland rewrote a lot of this too. Could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure. But, the David Kirschner created the overall look of Chucky, and Kevin Yagher came up with the practical effects. And pretty much, this was kind of like a social satire, because this came out sort of shortly after the whole Cabbage Patch Kid sort of craze. How parents were going apeshit over getting the hottest new toy for their kids. And, it's a pretty simple story. I mean, there's a single mother who has a 5 or 6-year-old son named Andy who loves the brand name of Good Guy dolls. There's a cartoon, there's toys, there's clothes. He loves it. And there's this new doll coming out, it's interactive, it's your own Good Guy doll. But they can't really afford it. But she's able to find a scalper who has one cheap enough that she can afford to give it to him. But before that, it opens up with a chase. There's this serial killer, Charles Lee Ray, what was it? The Lakeshore Strangler? Slasher? I think it was a Lakeshore Strangler. I can't really remember. But, he's being chased by cop Chris Sarandon. He gets shot and wounded. Goes into a toy store. And he bumps into this wall of Good Guy dolls. And he sort of gets this idea to transfer his soul, because he's a voodoo guy, into the doll as he's dying. So he does that how does that go? Awe Dewey Dembella, like that whole chant, transfers his soul. And then, his body's there, he appears dead. But the mother buys Andy the doll that he transferred his soul to. And it starts off slow, when it's mostly Chucky moving his eyes, and Andy saying Chucky tells him things that are bad, but he just puts the doll up to his ear, so it's like he's whispering. Like his mother's best friend is babysitting him. She gets pushed out a window, which is actually, it didn't come with it, which was actually the original poster. This great picture of like the apartment building with this woman falling out, and then like Chucky's eyes in the sky. And of course, the kid who's pretty innocent tells the cops, like, I know who did it. Chucky did it. Which the cops even think that Andy might have done it because there's like a bunch of sugar or flour on the counter with footprints that are like the tread on the shoe is good guy style. Andy has, shoes like that, so the cop even thinks Andy might have done it. And that's when you get that great line when she's talking to Andy in bed, and he's like, Chucky said that Aunt Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved. And he's trying to say Chucky's alive, no one believes him. Chucky even makes him cut school, get on the subway, and go to the terrible end of town, and I think it's Chicago. Yeah, Chicago. Just so the guys that were supposed to be his getaway drivers in the beginning, he can kill them. And it's all pretty much a build-up to seeing Chucky actually be alive. Because it's all sort of implied. Or you just, like a slasher film, you just see like his hands doing stuff. Or like a POV, like a really low to the ground, kind of like a pitter-patter kind of run. But it all builds up to where the mother is looking at Chucky. She's alone because Andy's been brought to like this hospital. Which actually the doctor at the hospital is what is his name? Jack McLovin. Not McLovin, but like Jack Glovin. The guy that played Mr. McGee on the Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk show. The nosy reporter, which he has a great death too. But it's all pretty much a build up to this scene where she's with Chucky. She lifts up the back of his shirt, sees there's no batteries in him. And that's when the head spins around. It's like, I'm Chucky, want to play? And then she's like, nah, that can't be real. She lights up the fireplace, and you get this great scene where we finally hear which I'm actually forgetting. Does that scene happen first? Or does he go... Because he goes to the guy that's his sort of voodoo mentor and asks him how to reverse the spell and get out of the doll. And he tells him the first person you tell your secret to, you got to do that. You got to do the spell to them in a certain amount of time, or else you're stuck like that. Because you start becoming more human. Because he says he got shot, and he's like, and you know what? It hurt. It hurt like a son of a bitch. And you get, Brad Dourif's voice is Chucky. I mean, Brad Dourif he just has a great sound to his voice. Wonderful laugh. Crazy maniacal laugh. He kills his voodoo mentor with a voodoo doll. I can't remember if that scene comes first or the scene with the mother. With the, talk you son of a bitch or I'll throw you in the fire. And that's when you see the doll's face go from like a smiley, neutral doll face to like this angry, like snarling Chucky face. And he's like, you stupid bitch, you filthy slut. I'll teach you to fuck with me. And he like runs at her like, rah, like get all the crazy Chucky faces. Probably my favorite part is he keeps trying to get back to Andy so he can transfer his soul. And he's in the elevator. Because as the movie gets on, he looks more and more, like, less and less of a doll. More like this. And even, sort of crackheady looking. Just more evil looking. You can tell he's becoming more human. So he's sitting in the elevator. In the corner of the elevator, and there's this old couple, and they get off the elevator. She's like, someone left their doll. And the husband's like, well, leave it, someone will find it. And as they're walking away, she's like, ugliest thing I've ever seen. And as the elevator goes up, you just hear Chucky say, fuck you. I just think that's awesome. Of course, the ending, Chucky just will not fucking die. He was burnt, he was shot, he was blown up. I think it was because they didn't want to make a sequel, or they were trying to make it so you couldn't do a sequel. Of course, we know no matter how hard you try, they're always going to find a way to do a sequel. But you know, burnt, blown up, like shot, but like the arm is by itself crawling around, the head is still talking. I can't remember how they finally kill him. They like shoot him through the heart or something. But anyway, so yeah, that's the first one. The second one, I would say, is probably one of the best sequels to like a slasher film besides Halloween 2 and Friday the 13th Part 2. Even Child's Play 3, which started bringing in some comedy elements, I still like Child's Play 3. Bride of Chucky, I always thought sucked, even when I was a kid. I mean, I can watch it, but I think it's pretty bad. Seed of Chucky is fucking terrible. I hate that movie for everything it's worth. I don't enjoy it at all. The comedy is too much. Curse of Chucky, I liked a little bit more because they went back to horror. I hated the look of Chucky. I thought it was a bit slow. The ending was really depressing. And then Cult of Chucky was just... They had potential, but they fucked up because they keep bringing back that fucking Tiffany character who I hate. But the first one, you know, back where it all started, this is a pretty good killer doll horror film. You know, Annabelle, I think, sucks ass. Annabelle's boring. And anytime there's a doll, it's sort of like clown movies where it's, you know, automatically people think it's scary because it's either a clown or a doll. But this one, and even the remake, I think looks decent. I'm glad they're getting Mark Hamill to do the voice. And I guess there's going to be a TV show as well with Brad Dourif. But you know, this was back where Don Mancini wasn't fucking everything up. It was directed by Tom Holland, so, you know, it was going to be a good 80s flick. Loved the voice of Brad Dourif. He is Chucky. He has more to do in Child's Play 2, but I still think this is I really like the build-up. Because I love the build-up of how you don't really see Chucky do much. It's all implied, but then once he finally wakes up, finally does something on screen, and it's like, you stupid bitch. It's awesome. It would have been nice. As much as I really like Child's Play 2, it would have been really nice if they just stopped after this. It would have been nice. It would have been great if they just left it as Child's Play. Because I also like that title, Child's Play. It's a great title. Once they started doing the Of Chucky films, they just started going downhill fast. But anyway, yeah, this is a classic. Definitely, you know, gave us a whole different kind of slash. And this came out in '88, so like slasher films were on its way out. But it found a way to stay fresh. It gave us the killer doll. You know, I never considered Hellraiser to be a slasher series, but you know, I think Hellraiser was '87, but the late '80s they were starting to go away from slashers, but still sort of have like a body count type film. This is still a slasher, but it's different. It's fresh. Now it sucks ass. I am curious to see how the remake works. I think they're taking a lot of right steps in the right direction. Sucks Brad Dourif isn't going to be in it, but Mark Hamill's the best. You know, the voice of the Joker, for fuck's sake. So yeah, Mark Hamill's going to be great. But yeah, this is definitely a classic. I don't know anyone that doesn't know who Chucky is. Even if they haven't seen Child's Play and all they've seen is Of Chucky, which is unfortunate. Go see Child's Play. Child's Play, not Of Chucky, Child's Play. Those are the good ones. But yeah, I'm starting to repeat myself now. So Child's Play, definitely a classic. Really enjoy it. This was the Chucky's 20th birthday edition, which means I bought this like 11 years ago because I bought this when it was new. bunch of great features. So, I mean, I'm sure there's a better Blu-ray up now, but definitely a classic. But for Room 237, that's Child's Play. Thank you.